Yeah, and I think that's the challenge, and that's kind of like my next question I was going to ask, and that is the challenge. Like, is it possible to be healthy and successful? Because based on what you just said and how you've broken it down, it's almost as if sometimes people's perception, right? It starts a lot with people's perception and what they perceive to be healthy and what they see as the end goal, what their vision, so to speak. So if your vision, for example, like you said, if your vision is to be Kate Moss and that's your picture of healthy, that's your perception of healthy, then to start off with, you've got things wrong. Where you're starting from is wrong, and it is going to be a struggle kind of thing. But then on the other hand, like you said, it is about doing the little things because they all add up. But then on the other hand, there's a lot of people that I find that there's a lot of people that, okay, I know I need to be healthy. A bit like you've just said, I know I need to go to the gym. I work better. I probably don't go as much as I used to or as much as I should, which tends to happen a lot. It's interesting because I think the older people get, the less inclined they are to do a lot more of fitness kind of thing. You know, people, you go to school, you're involved in sports. As you get older, life takes over, so your commitment to such things tend to decrease. That's just kind of the natural way life goes. And a lot of people tend to be maybe focused on their career goals, focused on making money, and it's kind of, yeah, I know I should be doing something to do with health, but it can, you know, I'll put that to one side right now because the priority is making money. The priority is achieving my career goals, or, you know, that kind of thing. And I guess the question, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes, you know, and it's also about your habits. I guess the question, you know, I would want to ask you is, do you think, you know, yourself being a success in everything you've done, do you think it's possible to be healthy and successful at the same time? Or do you think something has to give a little bit? And because for a lot of people I know listening to this, sometimes their health will give if they've got like this deal to close or this. I mean, do you think it's possible to be both at the same time?
I mean, I don't think that there's a continuum where they're on the same thing. It's not a choice of healthy or successful. I can't think of one example of a truly successful person who has ignored their health, who has ignored the basic fundamentals of their health. They may not all be, you know, supermodels, but they are all aware of the fact that in order to do a 12-hour, 15-hour day, if you don't eat, your brain is not functioning in a way that will help you be successful. And if people are compromising between doing that deal and their health, that is a function of an imbalance in your own life. And I don't say this lightly. I recognize that I've got professional services clients who work 15-hour days, which is ridiculous. Right? It's ridiculous. It's counterproductive, but it is the norm for their organization, and so they buy into it. I mean, I think it's a stupid price because it's not sustainable for a human being. It's not sustainable for an organization. And with new way of working coming down the pipe with flex working, whatever else, it's just not going to be the future. However, it's how it is some are now. But the idea that on top of working a 15-hour day, which overstresses the mind, the body, the everything, aside from being sat for 10 of those 15 hours in a day, the idea that on top of that, you're going to eat terribly, and that won't have a damaging repercussion on your performance, not just on your health, on your performance, is a foolish oversight. So I don't buy into that. I would also add that you can't be disciplined. I've not seen anybody be really disciplined in one area of their life, whether it be work or anything else, and then super indisciplined in another area of their life. Right? So if you are a slob in terms of your food, if you are a person who eats every terrible thing, has no delay of gratification, has no ability to push a plate back, will eat until they're stuffed every day, will eschew exercise and doing the right thing for your body, then you will make those same mistakes in other areas of your life. It's part of what makes us human.
So you don't buy into, there's some people that rather than take cooking, for example, it's like, oh, I've got so much to do today. I'm just going to stop at McDonald's. I'll get, my dinner there. I'll get, like a croissant and a cup of coffee for breakfast and stuff. And these are, because this, I know, like what you said, like a lot of successful people, by very nature, success comes with discipline. You've got to have a certain amount of discipline. But for a lot of people, time is money. And
No, this is a lie. This is a lie that we shouldn't perpetuate. It's a lie. Most people don't get up at 5 in the morning. Most people don't finish their work at 8 o'clock at night. Most people do, the vast majority of people do an 8 or 9 hour day. In that 8 or 9 hour day, they have a lunch hour. Now, you can choose to go to the closest place and eat Pret every day because it's delicious, sugary loveliness. Or you can decide to do something different. If you decided to do something different just twice a week, you'd improve your health. These are not hard choices. And people need to stop pretending that they are radically hard choices. I'm not even talking about traditional exercise. I'm talking about movement in terms of that. So stop talking about, people don't have to go to the gym. Get off a stop earlier. In London today, it is a perfectly beautiful, cold, but high pressure day with no rain. Every single person could have got off the stop earlier and walked. Whether it's their bus or their tube or their train, you know, everybody could have done that. Everybody could have chosen at lunchtime to get with a friend of theirs and pick a slightly nicer place to eat. That's something slightly healthier, not radically healthier, just maybe not a sandwich today, maybe crisps today, maybe not Coke or some kind of pop today. And they could have walked for 15 minutes there, eaten for half an hour and walked back, and their day would be better, their health would be better. These choices everyone can make. This is not about, I know that people's days are busy. My days are busy. Do you want to be as great as you can be?
And if you, because that translates into your performance in other areas, basically.
Yeah. And also, it's not very sensible to want to be a huge success and enjoy it for a year until your heart explodes.
Yeah. No, that's nicely said. And that brings me to my next question, which is changing paths. Now, you're someone I know, like with your history, you've changed direction a lot of time, you know, going to America, you know, starting basketball a bit later on, going to America, different country, different culture, coming back to the UK, which I'm sure was a bit of a change in mindset as well, without being politically incorrect. A lot of things quite different, and changing careers. For a lot of people, some of these things we talk about health, I mean, I know to yourself, to the more informed, there are some things that sound pretty basic, and it's like, look, this is what you need to do, get your act together. But for a lot of people, some of those things they've been taught, some of them are habits, some of them they don't know any better, and it's habits. And although they're learning and they want to, there are some people that genuinely want to be healthier, want to make that change, but somehow they're struggling to find the motivation. And also it's changing directions is a challenge. It's a hard thing to do. And I guess what do you say to such a person? How do you motivate them? Look, I know you've been doing it this way your whole life, but you can change, and change in a way that you kind of, you know, let go. Like you said, for example, you played professional basketball for many years. You know, I mean, I don't know if it was easy or if you found it hard, like when you've been doing something, you know, practicing, training your whole life, and then changing to another direction, because that's the struggle I think a lot of people have, even with their health habits. It's like changing, you know, what they do and changing directions. So what would you say to people like that?
I just don't think changing your habits is as radically difficult as we like to make it out. It's hard, but let's not go any further than that. It's difficult. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge like many other challenges. And I'm talking about non-addictive habits, right? So there is you know, things like smoking is addiction where you really should get some support. The NHS has got some great anti-smoking or smoking cessation advice and support, and you should get that. Sugar is also an addictive substance, and that's a tough thing. But you can do things like you can pre-commit. Pre-commitment is a really smart move for people who are struggling to break habits. For many of us, what we don't do, we look at our fridge and our freezer and our cupboards, and we can't understand why, when we're a bit stressed after work or a bit stressed with our partner or a bit worried about our kids, we go and reach for that terrible thing that we've left in our cupboard, or that we have in our cupboard every week. And they say, I know, it's there, I couldn't resist it. And it's like, yes, that's what we do as humans. It's there, we couldn't resist it. So pre-commitment is when you do your shopping, don't buy it. Don't buy it. If you don't buy this item, it is not in the house. And therefore, if you want it desperately, you'll suddenly look out the window, realize it's either freezing cold or, because it's England, raining. And you will have to go out in the freezing cold and or rain to get this item from the shop. Now, sometimes you will still do it. But I tell you right now, you will do it a lot less than if that thing is in your house ready for you.